started. Good morning and welcome to the MBA show. My name is John Taylor and I'm so happy to be with you this morning here in Studio A5, the home of the Mind Body Abundance show.
Mind Body Abundance is a dynamic and inclusive community that provides a safe and supportive place for individuals seeking growth and personal development. Our community offers a range of live and virtual events, on-demand courses, and community-created content that foster an enriching and empowering environment.
Our focus on mind-body wellness and abundance offers a unique perspective on success that resonates with our members looking for meaningful and sustainable change.
That's a big piece of it, sustainable. We believe in collaboration and shared learning, and our community members come from diverse backgrounds and experiences, united in their pursuit of fulfillment and growth.
And if you're a member of the Mind Body Abundance community, you can expect to benefit from the collective knowledge from our community, gaining insights and different perspectives on success, wellness, and happiness. Our commitment to building meaningful relationships and fostering a genuine sense of community ensures that all members feel supported, validated, and heard. I really like that heard part, right? So, Patricia, you're the newest guide in the Mind Body Abundance platform, but you've been coaching for quite a few years, and I'm saying that in a leading way. So can you tell us about your journey to get here?
Well, back in the 1980s, and I'm now like giving everybody a sense of how old I really am. Back in the 1980s, a man named Thomas Leonard started this whole thing that we today call coaching. And it really intrigued me because I was already doing the kind of thing that he was talking about. And so I got involved with Thomas and Coachville and sat on their advisory board for a while and just went with it to be doing coaching on both a personal and a business or executive level.
And coaching wasn't really as mainstream as it is today.
No, it wasn't. It was this new thing, and people were all like, what is that? And they thought maybe we were sports coaches, you know, and expected that kind of interaction. And the kind of coaching we do is related in a sense to sports coaching, but it's very different. And it's really about helping people discover who they are and what they believe and what they know, and help them bring that to conscious awareness and then make choices about what it is they want and how they're going to move forward, whether that's how they're going to market their business or how they're going to grow their life or what they want to do in relationships. So today we'll find coaches who specialize in a lot of different things. I've heard of grief coaches, relationship coaches, health coaches. I do mostly executive and business coaching and some personal life coaching. So there's many different ways that people do coaching, but the core relationship is always the same.
It is. So a lot of coaches that I meet today, they have something that happened. So, you know, there was something in their life, there was a big event, and that's why they got started. Was there something in your life that propelled you into this field?
Actually, it was the work that I was doing with Taking It Lightly and weekend emotional intelligence intensives with people. And what I found is that people wanted to continue that work. And so they needed someone to guide them, not doing therapy with them. They needed just someone to guide them with working toward their goals and that sort of thing. And so that's what I started doing, one-on-one work like that. My start in the whole world of personal development goes back to when I was 15 years old. So I've been doing some form of learning, growing, teaching ever since.
What do you do now? You've been doing this a lot, and I know that you're involved with a lot of organizations. You know, when I look at your website, there's a big list, you know, your Facebook page. So tell me a little bit about what you're doing now and how you help the community.
Well, my focus is on building community. And there are several major aspects to that. There's the Taking It Lightly program that I mentioned, which has thousands of graduates across the country, and many of them, most of them here in the Midwest. And there's the Healing Warrior Hearts program, which is a similar program to Taking It Lightly, dedicated to veterans, and we're developing community around that to give the veterans a place to gather and do wellness, personal development work. And then there's the Dare to Be Aware Fair. We're celebrating our 15th year this year, 15th fair. We're really excited about that. Over 120 exhibitors. It's just this amazing place. And the people stay connected throughout the year, the folks who meet at the fair. So that's another aspect of community. So Center for Creative Learning is the focal point of all of that. And those are the three main areas. And then, of course, there's the individual work that I do, which brings people into the community, and that's training for corporations and teaching at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that you do a lot of work with the veterans. And what inspired you to get involved in that niche?
My dad was a sergeant major in the U.S. Army. He was a medic in World War II, and so I grew up in that culture. And in the late 1980s, a Vietnam veteran came through the Taking It Lightly program, and he said, I want to do this just for vets. The Vietnam vets need this so much. Mm-hmm. And so together we created a program called the Bamboo Bridge, which has evolved over time to Healing Warrior Hearts, so it's inclusive of all veterans from all times.
Mm. Do you have any events coming up?
We always have events coming up.
They're always
John.
happening. The calendar's always full. This is great.
It is.
Yeah.
But in the very near future, we have the first of our Dare to Connect series for this season. Dare to Connect are workshops that happen twice a month, one in person, one virtual. They're free to anybody, and it helps to keep the Dare to Be Aware Fair community connected all year long. So August 15th, Jill Borsos is doing Money Mindsets That Move Mountains.
That is a mouthful.
Yeah, great alliteration.
Yes.
Jill is amazing. She was the founder of the Dare to Be Aware Fair,
Yeah.
and I'm very excited that she's kicking off our series. So that's going to be at the Center for Creative Learning, and we'd love to have people join us. So they go to the Dare to Be Aware site if they want to register, daretobeawarefair.com. And then the MBA Expo is coming up on October 7th, and I'm really looking forward to that because I didn't get to participate in the earlier expo.
Yeah.
So this will be my first with everybody, and I'm looking forward to it very much.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So the Mind Body Abundance Expo is on October 7th, and it's here at the Expansive Workspace. It's a wonderful little, and I mean little, health and wellness expo that has about 12 vendors. It's a little bit different than the big ones that you do. There's everything is there, and it's a whole range of things. We try to focus on a few vendors so that people can come in and get a real close one-on-one.
Sure.
And that small, intimate type of event. We also have a wonderful lineup of speakers for the day, and I'm really looking forward to it. We're really excited about making these every month to help support all of the bigger events coming up, like the Dare to Be Aware Fair.
Yeah.
And if you would like to know any more information on any of these events, they are on our website, and they are also on the Mind Body Abundance platform, where you can get links and get a little bit of inside information on what's going on there.
I think that one of the things that's important to say to everybody is that this community, the Mind Body Abundance community, is really bringing together the personal growth world in the greater Milwaukee area. And of course, from anywhere, because they can participate online. But it's really a powerful thing that's happening, movement that's happening in the community. And I acknowledge you for all the work you're doing to put it together.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
That was such a great way to put it. I think we're going to keep that. So our first guest today is Cassandra Wind. And Cassandra Wind from Nurturing Generations, she does mobile acupuncture, and she does counseling. She also does Reiki, craniosacral, and a whole range of Chinese medicine. And it was a fun interview, but then Tracy decided that it would be wonderful if she stuck needles in me. And I am deathly afraid of needles. So
how'd it go?
Well, it was a lot of fun. You're going to have to watch and see how it goes. But I really love what she's doing, and wait till you see what happens. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay.
And next, coming up after Cassandra, we have Jory Pradjinski. And Jory is from Hope Instilled. And Hope Instilled is putting on an event called Everyone in Wellness Expo. Jory focuses on chronic pain, and his website, Hope Instilled, has a plethora of information and resources focused just on chronic pain. I think it's such a good sister site to what we're doing because they focus on such a specialized niche. And he's going to tell about his story. He got into making a website about chronic pain because of some chronic pain that he faced and some challenges.
Okay.
And so he has a very interesting story, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Hope Instilled. And that's coming up on September 30th, the Everyone In Wellness Fair at the Baird Center.
Another great opportunity for people to meet
Yeah.
providers and learn more. And I would say that a great opportunity even if someone isn't experiencing chronic pain. And when I looked at all the folks who were going to be there,
Yeah.
there's going to be resources that will be valuable for on many different levels.
So let's turn it over to Tracy and myself when we meet with Cassandra. I am so excited for our first guest today. Cassandra is an acupuncturist, an author, a coach, and a speaker, and she is a craniosacral therapist and storyteller whose passion is sharing her experience of walking away from violence and trauma to bring hope and healing to other trauma survivors with an integrative approach.
Her 40-plus year career in Western medicine, working with infants, children, teens, and adults, and the elderly, has taught her that healing encompasses more than the body.
So in her passion to help others with their challenge, Cassandra sought out non-traditional healers for a deeper understanding and wisdom. She believes that trauma leads to isolation, anxiety, sleep issues, learning issues, abusive parenting, and weakens the community. Her passion is to help as many parents with trauma find peace, joy, and community.
Welcome, Cassandra, to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So how do so many alternative healing, or you do so many alternative healing techniques? Can you tell us a little bit about the things that you do?
Sure. A lot of what I do comes out of having trained in Chinese medicine, and Chinese medicine is more inclusive. It's not just acupuncture. There's nutrition, there's Chinese herbals, there's techniques of gua sha, cupping, tuina, and feng shui, believe it or not, is part of that because feng shui is about how cluttered a home is. And if a home is cluttered, you don't have good energy moving through, basically the simple way to say it. So looking at that when you come in home, I do cranial sacral therapy as well. It's not part of Chinese medicine, but it's a very effective tool when you don't like needles.
What is cranial sacral therapy?
It is a therapy where people lay on the table and you're actually looking from the head to the sacrum, how the cerebral spinal fluid is moving in the head and coming down the spine. And you'll look for restrictions in movement, and that gives you an idea of what's going on. So if I have children, and I do a lot with children with ADD, ADHD, or birth trauma or sleep stuff, that's where we can find out what's really going on. And then find out what else they need as well. Look at nutrition, see what's happening before they go to bed, what are routines. There's a lot that can happen with kids. They can be vitamin deficient. They may need to go see a pediatrician for part of it. But I help people walk through those processes so they don't feel, if you have a trauma parent, they always feel guilty about everything. They're always worried that they're causing problems. They never feel good or safe with their kids, so they love them. But if you don't get the knowledge back here in childhood and you're having a child, there can be some bumps in the road as you're moving through, and knowing how to deal with kids are being kids, but you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you have so many, so it looks like not one is a cure-all for everything. It's like you should be doing various different things, it looks like.
So a lot of times people come to me first, and I have to also refer them. You may need to see your pediatrician. You may need to see a naturopath. You may need to do a functional medicine, follow that. You may need to go back to your MD or an OBGYN. So, and for me, I'm in the community and I'm referring out as much as I'm referred to. Medicine is so different. You need need not just one thing all the time. As your body changes, as you age, you go through having children, whatever, there's a healing process to everything. And that's what I've learned studying Ayurvedic medicine, Chinese medicine, as well as working in Western medicine for over 40 years.
How does feng shui, I guess I know the symptoms of the opposite of feng shui and what that looks like and the mental health issues around that. What does proper feng shui do for you mentally? Like, what are the results of having a balanced environment?
That's a great question, John. I had trouble with this at first, but if you walk in a hoarder's home, what's the first thing that hits you when you open the door to walk in?
Smell?
I feel very, very stressed and confined and feeling like I have a lot of work to do.
So there's a couple things. It becomes a health issue because a lot of people can get respiratory infection, have
Smell.
breathing stuff. You're breathing in mold, you're breathing in whatever else they have in their animal feces, whatever. So it becomes a toxic environment, not just for the person in there, but for the neighbors as well as any medical person coming in or psychologist or whatever. So it is a mental health issue, and it comes from whatever happened in their life that they couldn't cope with or didn't have the skills, and this is how they keep themselves safe and protected at times. And aging, can enhance any of those mental health issues and lead to that. With feng shui, what you're really looking at in the home is the home set up so that air moves freely through the home. You don't have windows blocks, you don't have hall blocks, but also with children, they get chills easy. You're not putting the baby by the window so their temperature drops and they get sick more often. You want them to stay healthy. With parents who have trouble with overheating at night too, you want to make sure that they don't have the fan up above running all the time, because it actually causes more problems down the road. So fan moves the air, but air moving dries you out as well. So we have the saying in Chinese medicine, wind is the mother of 1,000 diseases. So we want to know that air is moving, yes. You want to know the quality, where doors are opening and closing. There's things in Chinese medicine where you do not want your head under a window.
I did that last night.
And it's long-term affects your health. So these are the way we look at things in Chinese medicine. It's just a different type of philosophy based on thousands and thousands of years of observing people, and they have a lot of people. So there has to be something to it. Some people think that it's about a spiritual thing or whatever, but I don't go into that as much. I look at my practice and I see what I've learned from Western medicine training, from integrative approaches, as well as to Chinese. And really, when I interned in China, I got to go onto a floor and I worked in the morning with the Western physicians. And in the afternoon, I'd see the same patient with the Chinese medicine doctors. So I really learned they may be saying things a little different. They may have a little bit of verbiage that's different to look at something that's the same disease. I've seen how that can make the difference from just doing it Western to Eastern in the recovery process. So take a stroke. If somebody has a stroke that's a bleed versus a clot, there's a different way to treat that in Western medicine, but it goes even further in Chinese. It's there as well, but herbs are given different. And medications are given different here. But how you feed the patient, what therapies you're going to do and not do is different. They don't have PT, OT in China. So it's cupping. Where's the cupping done? Where isn't it done? Where's the acupuncture done? That's going to be a whole different way from somebody who has a bleed versus a clot. So it's very different. And it's very, very interesting. And it's applicable here as well as there.
I just want to ask a quick question about, can you combine the two different kinds of the cultures to heal something? Like you were just talking about the stroke. Can you use Chinese and Western? Can you combine? Or is it better just to do things separately?
I see patients all the time that are seeing both physicians. The things you have to be really careful at is practice your medicine. And when you choose to do herbals, and they're on medicines, you really have to, the people that are trained with herbals know what you can and can't do with Western medicines. And then it's always the patient's choice if they understand, and making sure they're willing to do what it takes. A lot of people, you go to 12 weeks after a stroke, and Western medicines, well, we'll wait a year. And I say, no, keep going, try Chinese medicine, put it in, get the acupuncture going, and see how far you go. And most people have changes. I actually like to see stroke people within 4 weeks of their stroke. But when they're admitted in China, they get stabilized in the ER there, then they go to the floor, and they actually start as soon as that patient's up on the floor. They'll get a herb consultation, they'll get acupuncture, they'll see if they can do cupping on the side that's been affected. Cupping will help start circulation moving on that side, bring warmth down. So it's a whole different precept.
Yeah.
Where did you get this training to learn all this?
So the school that I went to is in Racine, and it's been there. It started here, I don't know how long ago. It was one of the first schools when they opened the doors. I think 1992 they started. Don't quote me on that, but it's the Midwest College of Oriental Medicine. And I went there and I took the whole Oriental medicine. I didn't take just acupuncture. You had that choice. You want to do acupuncture or Oriental medicine. So Oriental medicine is learning everything else besides the nutrition and herbals. And it takes a while. And I was fortunate because the professor that we had in China actually came to the school and helped teach like one of my last semesters. So
That's
it was
awesome.
really interesting to go and be part of that and see the culture. One of my funniest things was, you pay all this money to go and you're going to learn gua sha over there. And then you learn what it is. And all it is a scraping of the skin, and you use this if you're coming down with a cold to stop it. And you see all the grandmas outside with the kids in the square, and they're doing gua sha with a quarter. I laughed so hard. I'm like, oh, okay, it's a culture thing. But it was fun to see how they live what they, what you're learning. So, and how they cook. They cook for when you're sick. They cook for when you're down with your period. They cook, and it changes all the time when you eat. So if you're conscious of the changes in the weather, too, you won't see older people outside on a windy or rainy day. They just don't go outside.
Huh.
And other times they would be out there on the square. So
That's interesting.
and they're very conscious about their health. So in the morning, I went out at 4 o'clock every morning. I found this fascinating. In the morning, the different age groups would come out. So 4 in the morning till 5 would be people 90 to 100, and they were out there moving Tai Chi. Then you go to the 70 to 60s, and they're doing a combination of Tai Chi and dance. And then you get down to your 50 to 40s, and they're actually doing fan dances and stuff. So it was very interesting. And then that same square at lunchtime, all the kids would come out and do their martial arts stuff. So it was fascinating to me. They're very into movement and keeping your mind strong as well as your body. Community was big.
So acupuncture is one of the bigger things that you do. And I hear that I'm not doing any acupuncture. But John says he might do some acupuncture.
We want to see how it works, so let's try it.
All right, let's go.
Oh,
All right, you gonna, yeah?
okay.
All right,
let's
go.
do it.
You won't faint, will you?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I can't catch you.
I don't think I'll faint.
All right, I have had people faint.
All right, so this looks interesting. Yeah, we have lots of stuff here. This is going to be,
How you feeling?
I think I'm okay. A little unsure, but I think I'm okay.
Well, we have a safety kit.
You look very nervous, more nervous than I do.
Well,
Thanks for looking out.
I'm just taking care of your nerves for you. Okay, so
What are you doing?
yeah, where are you acupuncturing him, and then what's he gonna feel like after you do it?
So I'm just going to demonstrate how easy it is to treat the whole body on the ear. So the first point I'm going to do is a relaxation point and centering. And then the other one, it's called Shenmen. It's for the mind, to calm the mind. So
Okay.
one's for the body, one's for the mind. So we're going to work on 2 points. If John gets through the first, we'll do the second. And he gets to say, so let me just tell you first, while we were off, I did a cuff on John to get his blood pressure, we always do that first. We want to make sure that he's not too nervous and so he doesn't have any problems. And I did a medical history, so I checked everything out and I know John. And then the last thing I did was his pulses. So in Chinese medicine, we take 6 pulses and they correlate with the organs and we take them at the wrist. So we're all set to go. When I start this procedure, I put on gloves first. So I will use non-sterile, I mean, not non-sterile, I mean, what do you call it?
Latex.
Latex.
Latex. Thank you. I couldn't think the word. So these are non-latex. I never use latex. I'm allergic to it
Okay.
for all those years in the hospital. And then the needles that I use, they come in a 10-pack, but these are sterile. They're one-time use. Everybody asks me, what is it made of? It's just a stainless steel therapeutic needle. I mean, like you would have surgery and stick a needle. It's all processed the same. These are just very thin, like the width of your hair. We're going to use an alcohol wipe. We're going to clean the area first. It'll be cold.
How many needles are you going to use?
We're going to do one and see how John does. And then if he does okay, we'll do a second one. So this is just for demonstration and to teach him how this can make you feel relaxed. So we kind of let this alcohol dry before we...
I think the alcohol's already working on him.
I feel very chill, bro.
All right. So this first point here is going to be on the ear. And it's 0.0, it's called. And it's basically to get the body relaxed and get it centered before we do a lot of therapy needles. So I'm going to grab his earlobe and squeeze it. Can you feel that? Now sit back. Make sure you're sitting against the chair. I want you to take a deep breath in now. And then blow it out down through the balls of your feet. And there's the first needle. How was that?
Perfect.
Any pain?
No, a little boink.
Okay. And then just because I haven't worked with John before, we're just checking his pulses just to see if there was any change.
Am I calmer?
Yes, already.
But see, it works.
All right. Pulse rate has come way down. So thank you, John, for being willing to try this.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the second one is it's for the mind. It calms the mind. It's called Shen Men in Chinese medicine. I like to do this when I first start working with people, whether in the office. It's just kind of a way for them, if they've never had acupuncture and they have this, they always ask for this when I come back. Can you do that one in the ear? Made me relax first. So I'm going to do the same thing. Squeeze, take a deep breath, blow it out. And people always ask me, how far do I put the needles in? And they're just the tip of the needle. So the ear, like if I have people with headaches, asthma, there's all the points that you can find on the body, on the ear. With kids, we just let them decide. Do you want it on the ear? Do you want it on the body? Adults, too, I'll ask them. Most of the time, if I'm in the home and they can lay down, I will do the body. But when we're sitting up and this is our only situation, or if I'm in an office and somebody has a headache or they have a neck ache or their wrist is hurting, I can treat all that on the ear. But I can add a wrist point in if they're having problems, at the office or getting some carpal tunnel. I can do that right away. I have a couple in the ear, have a couple at the wrist. So that's kind of how I work. I usually leave them in 15 minutes and then we're done. So when I'm in an office, at a home, if I'm doing them on the body, then I would leave them in longer, up to half an hour.
Well,
So how you feeling?
I feel calm. Thank you so much for joining us today and showing us what acupuncture looks like. I really appreciate the opportunity to try this.
You're welcome. So now let me show them how we take the needles out.
All right, let's do that. And
So
I'll move
Can we
this
just
way.
rip them out?
So we always have a red box. Every needle goes in a red box, just like if you were at a hospital having blood drawn.
Do you twist them and turn them and dig them in first?
We twist him a little bit to come up, and
Does it bleed afterwards?
Sometimes it will. He's not bleeding per se, but I could pull it out, and then I pull this one out, and that one would start to bleed. So we just twist it a little, pull it out, or you can just pull it out, and he's not bleeding at all.
I feel like I'm at Catholic school again.
No, isn't that the nun tag?
And then the nun, she like pulls your ear. Okay.
So
All
do
right.
you have any further question?
No, thank you so much.
Oh, I'd have one. Like, how long will he feel these effects?
It's different for each person.
Okay.
So usually when people have the first acupuncture, if they leave the office, they may get the pain back.
Mm.
They're coming for pain. If you have a chronic pain issue, it takes multiple treatments.
Mm.
Plus you have to look at, if you have chronic pain, there's a chemistry imbalance, so that's going to affect the brain. So we're going to have to take some time to undo that patterning. Plus we have to see what you're eating, because if you're eating all junk food because you're in pain, or you're doing coffee, you can't change anything unless you're going to really pull off the things that are aggravating the pain. Caffeine just stimulates your brain, stimulates the nerve system. So it's a holistic, we do an intake, and you saw how long it is and how specific the questions are. So we really get to know the client, what their lifestyle is a little bit, what they're looking for, try an acupuncture treatment, and then we talk about the realities. It's my plan. I mean, some people say, oh, you're going to do 10. I look at the bigger picture and say, okay, where do you want to go and how fast?
Thank you so much for joining us today. This was an interesting experience. I appreciate getting any type of help to be calmer, and you really do know how to help the mind body to find that abundance. So thank you so much. If you would like to learn more about Cassandra Wind and all of the services that she provides, there's a link on the right here. Okay.
And how do you feel after having the treatment?
I feel very cool. I feel pretty chill. Yeah.
Wonderful.
He looked
Yeah.
pretty chill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty chill.
Good.
So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. I am here with a good friend of the show, Jory Pradjinski, and he is from Hope Instilled, and they provide information and resources for people who are dealing with chronic pain, and they're just doing some great work out there to help the community, solve this problem, because no one wants to live with chronic pain. Thank you for joining us today, Jory.
Thank you for having me on.
So tell me a little bit, unfortunately, your journey to find Hope Instilled and all of these great things that you do for people and all these resources that you provide, unfortunately, it started with an injury. Can you tell us a little bit about that injury and what happened?
Yeah, John, I was working at an auto repair place in 1987, managing it, and the normal things that I would do. I was young, I was healthy, not a problem with digging in and working hard. Unfortunately, unloading a delivery truck, I felt and heard something pop in my low back. And it was one of those, that's not good. And again, like I said, I was young and healthy. However, I started on the journey of trying to figure out how to deal with the injury. It was a disc injury. And it took me in a journey I never, ever expected to experience. So it started out with a surgery. And fortunately, I had to have surgery. But I was young. I was healthy. The doctors literally said I was the poster child for the perfect back surgery candidate. The first 3 fusions failed. And that was between 1989 and 1994. In that time period, I had my kids. I was married. I had my kids, starting life, trying to move forward, thinking what we all want to do when we're young, starting a family. However, I kept having recurring failed back surgeries. So in 1996, I ended up with 2 surgeries, 2 days apart. They did everything except wrap me in duct tape and baling wire. And finally it fused, which was great. It was like, this is fantastic. And about a year after that, the doctor removed the hardware and the bone growth stimulator, and he said, I saw it, Jory, and you are fused. And I thought, this is great. And then the immediate thought was, when's it going to fail again? Because it's always done that. So it took me a while to just accept the fact that I finally was fused. In addition to that, because a back injury wasn't enough. I'm kind of like an overachiever. In 2006, I was at a stoplight and I was rear-ended by a pickup truck, inattentive driver going about 50 miles an hour, and just slammed into the back of me. I came flying forward, like that close to the steering wheel, slammed back. So I ended up with disc problems in my neck, bruised the back of my skull from hitting the headrest so hard, and it was like my 9th concussion that I can remember in my life. So just kind of but you know what, John, what? I'm not wired like most people, I guess, because I came out of that thinking, okay, I can now relate to people who have neck disc problems, who have head injuries, in addition to low back problems. Who comes out with that for a reason? Something happened.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
most people go into that path of despair and like, poor me, and you really took a different path of, I'm going to turn this into an opportunity. That is so fantastic. So this is how you built your community.
Right. Now, I wasn't always just that, hey, wow, listen to Jory. He just sailed through this. It was great. I had my despair. I had my anger and frustrations. I went through a year and a half of suicidal thoughts. So I've been through a lot, and I know there are people out there who have been through much worse than me. But as you said, I knew there was a reason for it, and I wanted to be able to reach out to others, do what I can to help to make a difference.
Yeah. To instill hope in their life, hence the Hope Instilled. So tell us more about Hope Instilled and how that community has really evolved as a result of your revelation.
Yeah, it's an idea concept that started in 2000. I have notes going back that far that I knew that there needed to be some type of a community to help other people going through this. I had no idea what. I was raised blue collar. This is definitely not the kind of thing I was raised to do. But in 2016, I founded Hope Instilled, a nonprofit, and it was hope that always got me to continue. Hope always was inside me to be able to continue going forward, and it was instilled in me as a child, and that's where the name came from. And so it is just a matter of taking what I've been experiencing. I actually feel it's a gift of what I've had to go through, and to be able to reach out, bring it to other people, talk to them and say, this is real. Everything we're doing, this is based on real life garbage that happens to people. But there are things we can do to try to improve the quality of our lives.
Yeah, live a better life. You've probably helped so many people, and we want to be respectful of everyone's anonymity, but can you tell us a story of somebody who's joined the community and really has changed their life and experienced the same transformation that you have?
Yeah, that's there's a young lady who is in Arizona, and she's one of those that I look at her and say, you've been through so much worse than me. And she's like, yeah, but you've been through a lot. However, she took what she began to feel changes from what we worked with, the things that we were able to offer her, and she found a passion for herself, which is what I just hope people can find. It's just so cool. She started making homemade dog treats because
beautiful.
she loves dogs.
Yeah.
And it's something she can do, and they're all natural. And so she found a gift for herself inside of what she's experienced to be able to do her own giving back. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Yeah, really pay it forward, give back, and be part of the community. So tell me a little bit more about your community and what it looks like. So it's called Hope. Is it Hope Instilled is the website or the
Yes.
membership
It's-
community?
Yeah, it's the website is hopeinstilled.org. And on the website, one of the things that I wanted to be able to give to others is in my journey of recovery, which that started in about 2013. I was 57 pounds overweight and I was on a lot of pain medications. So again, so the audience knows, like, I've been there. I'm not some golden child here, but what we've been able to put together on the website was my mission of giving others a place to find resources and information about alternative treatment options, different ways that they can find some potential to improve the quality of their life, some potential to reduce their pain and inflammation. And we have over 30 different alternative treatment options listed on there. And I want people to come in and be able to read about chiropractors, be able to read about Reiki, read about what is this craniosacral therapy and what's myofascial therapy. And so they come in and here's this huge library of information. And it talks about what the treatments are, what you can expect. We've been adding in from what we've been able to source as the best resource to find a practitioner in their area. And I have to tell you, craniosacral is like the biggest one. I get a lot of calls for people like, can we schedule an appointment? It's like, well, we don't actually do the service, but
Right.
you can find somebody in your area, you know. And so that's what we want to provide.
And it sounds like you have a range of services and practitioners that from Eastern to Western medicine. And are they mostly energy healers and chiropractors, or are there supplements and herbs also?
There's also, we also get into supplements and herbs. We get into something that a lot of people don't realize because we're not educated to how to really address chronic pain. Chronic pain is something most people don't want to talk about. It's kind of like, don't talk about chronic pain. But there are literally foods that we all eat. I've changed my diet, but there are foods that we eat which can possibly increase pain and inflammation. And then there are foods that can possibly, we always do the quote unquote, possibly reduce pain and inflammation. Now, I'll tell you one story. My daughter, she was born with a lot of joint pain, and we never could figure out anything that could help her. She's in her 30s now, but she ended up going gluten-free and dairy-free. This is what's worked for her, worked for a lot of people, but it's resolved her joint pain that she's had since a child. So is it the miracle for everyone? No.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, it can make such a huge difference.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I hear the same thing is if you're having, issues with your joints, with your arms, with anything that's movement-wise, first cut out the sugar and the gluten and then start building from there.
Right.
Clean out your system because all those toxins just swell up in the joints and makes it hard to move. And do you experiment? Go
this
ahead.
is another little tidbit that I learned about. I learned about it from reading about he was a medical doctor during Revolutionary War in Eastern countries. That part of it's not important, but water. The best thing we can do is to drink water as literally almost the main piece because our kidneys are the train station to get rid of garbage. So if we think about their kidneys and it's train cars coming in empty, and the kidney wants to just fill that train car up with garbage so that it can be disposed of through our system. Well, if the train car comes in full of junk already, Well, it can't really load any more up. And so it starts building up. But when we drink water, when we start to just do the basic things of looking at our diet, our body in itself can start to work better, more efficiently the way it was designed, and we can start to make some changes and improve the quality of our life.
Yeah, it seems that there's a real revolution with TikTok and Instagram and all of the social media channels to promote these very basic remedies that, dandelions and water and, just eat less sugar and use things to clean out your system. And it's really trending a lot right now on all of the social medias. And so I think the world is catching on, and hopefully we're getting healthier. So you talked a little bit about your community and the resources. You also have an event where you bring a lot of these practitioners and resources together so people can immerse themselves in a day of learning and
Everyone in Wellness and Abilities Fair is our event, and it's every number one in. And I like the way you just described it. Can I, get that in writing? Can I use that, John?
absolutely. We're recording it, so it's all yours.
Excellent. Because literally, it is going to be September 30th at the Wisconsin Center, downtown Milwaukee. And it is going to be from 9 to 5. We're going to have a wide array of alternative treatment practitioners and medical, regular medical representation. We're going to have supplements. We're going to have alternative or adaptive theater, adaptive arts, adaptive sports, because we get into disabilities as well as wellness. We get into touching the lives of people with chronic pain, chronic illness, mental health conditions, and all of those. There are ways of changing lives through, like I said earlier, that lady who got into making dog treats became her passion. So we have this event 9 to 5. We have some incredible speakers. Jonathan Hyder, people can look that up. They can find it on our website too, but he's our keynote speaker. We ended up with a guy, he would have been a fantastic keynote speaker, but we already had our guy booked. So Dr. Michael Lenz is going to be our special featured speaker. So anyone out there who's ever had to deal with fibromyalgia, this is the guy you want to be listening to. He's the guy you want to check out. Our other speakers we're listing up on the website, but they're musicians who have found music to help them overcome traumas. We have other guys who are coming out with different ways of addressing burnout and stress, how to change a course of your life from a trauma you've been through. And all of this also will be virtual. So the website is, all of the vendors will also be available virtually, because Hope Instilled has touched every continent, which is amazing. For the event itself, we have followers from globally. And so the event itself needs to be able to reach out to people, even if that is somebody who is a half hour away from where the expo is going to be, but that half hour drive is too much for them because of their physical situation. But they can pop on the internet and get the information that they want to find.
That's fantastic. That's so great that you're providing that service and really keeping in mind everybody who's going to need this service and how they can best access it in their situation. That's so fantastic. So we're going to put the information down below so that everyone can definitely connect with you, learn more about how they can get involved with the Everyone in Wellness and Abilities Fair. And of course, we want everybody to go to Hope Instilled and see the wonderful work that you're doing and how you're helping people. And so how else can people, we really want to have people get involved, whether they need the resources or they'd like to help. What's the best way to connect with you so that they can get involved to help?
The best way, literally, they can email me. I give my email out, Jory, JORYP, at hopeandstill.org.
I'll put that down below here. Perfect.
Excellent. They can reach out to me directly. We are looking for the event, we are always looking for more vendors who are alternative treatment practitioners, like I say, medical situation, medical representatives, that doctors like Dr. Michael Lenz, they have specialties that they do. We're looking for supplements, and they have to be quality, high-end supplements, because we want to provide. I have a reputation I've built. I've been allowed to build. And I want to make sure that everything we put out there maintains the reputation that I've created, so that it helps the people the most. So we're looking for vendors. We are still looking for some more speakers, always open to those. And then the tickets are just going on sale through Eventbrite. So those are available. That'll be up on the website soon. People can click and get their tickets there. And then again, vendors, they don't have to be local. So if somebody knows a friend or a nonprofit and they have something that's very valuable that it would be great to get out for more people to learn about, but they're outside of southeastern Wisconsin, we want them as a virtual vendor.
Yeah. That's fantastic. This is going to be such a great event. I know that we're planning on being there in some capacity, so I look forward to seeing you in person. And thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me, John. This was really a pleasure.
Great. So once again, Jory's event is September 30th, and that is the Everyone in Wellness Expo. We're going to be there. We're going to be broadcasting live. We want to give people who have challenges in mobility an opportunity to reach these providers and see this information. So it's a great partnership that we're going to be doing with Jory. Cassandra, she's kind of magical with those needles.
She is.
Yeah, I was, you could see on my face that I was a little bit nervous, a little scared, but, in the end, the needles didn't hurt, and I felt calm. I felt very peaceful, it really helped. And what she said it would do, it did. What you didn't see afterwards, a little bit of behind the scenes, is I had an injured arm, and she did some craniosacral on it. And so I don't know what craniosacral is. I think cranial, I'm like, oh, she's going to touch my head or something, right?
Yes.
So, and it sounds religious and all these different things, but it's really energy healing, and she's holding my arm. And if you were to tell me about it, I'm like, that's not really going to work. But the result is it did help my arm. And then she did some acupuncture to help it out. And it really gave me instant relief for, some very bad pain. If you've had golf elbow or tennis elbow, where things get ripped up in there, golf elbow is the opposite of tennis. So if you ever had that, it's just like annoying, because you pick up a gallon of milk and it's like, ah. So she gave me instant relief, and that was a really, I can't tell you how much I appreciate just having like a little temporary relief from that pain. So it was a good treatment, and we're really glad to have her on the show.
She's great.
Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us on the Mind Body Abundance Show. We will see you next week. And Patricia, thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate you being here.
It was nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.